Hi everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be twisting this little balloon skeleton wearing the hat, and at the end I'm probably going to add a little extra piece. It's just going to be like a little beer can in his hand. Maybe he'll be a little bit drunk. You can notice I drew him this. Let me hold it up there just for a second so you can see. I drew him with a burp coming out the side there, so you can study that just for a second. But I'm going to go ahead, when I do the drawing at the end, I'm going to go ahead and keep his mouth closed. But we can still add the little beer can at the end. I'll show you how to do that. Real easy to do. So anyway, let's go ahead and go over the balloons we're going to use for this. Flip it around there real quick. Okay. We're just going to be using we're going to use four for the little beer can. But these are the three balloons we're using. Two 260s, a white and a brown, and then our white round that I've underinflated and actually squeezed it so it ended up looking like a light bulb. And then we have our little bit of red, and that's what we're going to use for the beer can at the end. Okay, so with my videos, what I always do is I bring the sound down and I'll twist and then do voiceover. Okay, so again, thank you very much for being here. Oh, excuse me, before I get ahead and I forget, the markers that I'm using, I'm going to use a black and a white, and I'm only going to use white at the end just to write beer on the side of the can, just so people can read it. That's all. We're really otherwise, if you don't add the beer can, you won't need the white. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started twisting. Let's bring that sound down. One thing that I forgot to mention as I get ready to use this white balloon is you need a small piece of scrap, so that way you can tie the bottom of that white balloon for the round. You'll see it coming up there. So anyway, what I started here with the hand. So I did a pinch twist followed by a loop, and then I did the arm segment followed by two pinch twists actually. So we got our second pinch twist coming up here. There we go. And I'm just going to roll the balloon in between there. There you go. And that arm length and this torso length and the leg and everything, they're about 4 fingers wide in case you're trying to measure them. That's about what I keep mine to. Okay. There we go. And I'm just matching those two, and I'm actually going to lock that. And so what happened is I went down, I did the legs, the torso, and then the legs, and I'm coming right back up again to finish the other side of the torso. And I'm going to end up with that final arm right around this. So you can see this design comes together pretty darn fast. And I guess one thing that I always mess up on or do from time to time is I overinflated this white balloon. So keep that in mind when you do it. I would say probably about, you can't go wrong if you do, I would say about 7 fingers on the tail, 6 or 7 fingers, you end up with the right amount there. Okay, so I had to let a little bit of air out of this. But we can still make it work, so we don't have to start over or anything. And so I'm just squeezing the rest of that air out. There we go. And I think for the most part I felt pretty good about that without it being too tight, because that's always an issue. You get to the end of a design and then it's too tight and it feels like you mess up that part of it. So this ended up being pretty good. Alrighty, so there we go. We got our balloon body. And so again, like I said, I'm gonna put these two together, and so this is what I'm going for. See, the nozzle's going down inside there, and I'm grabbing it from under the balloon there. There we are. So once I have it, I'll be able to roll a knot out of that. So anyway, I left the tail on that brown mocha, so that way when I push it down, I get a little bit of length to play with, and it gives the balloon, makes it a little bit easier to deal with versus if I didn't leave a little bit of tail on it. So anyway, I have it now. I'm going to go ahead and spin it. And this is what I was saying. See, I'd forgotten to mention a little piece of scrap to tie that, because you do have a nice hunk of balloon on the bottom there. It's just getting ready to be tied. And so that's all I did. I just wrap it around there. And I just did twice. And I'm going to go ahead and tie it. I think I just ended up tying it once actually for this. So there we go. So once that's tied, ready to go. See, it's really in there secure. And now I'm just going to create a loop. And it's about 3 fingers, in case you're wondering. And then I'm going to do 2 bubbles. And the second bubble, I'm not going to pinch twist it yet, but you could pinch twist that second bubble. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the balloon around. That's the center of our hat. And it's going to come right back to the second bubble. And I'm going to roll it into that, and it's going to create as a pinch twist. You can see it right there. Okay. And I'm going to actually do it a second time. I'm going to do a second loop around there, and that's going to make our brim a little wider for the hat. And so if you've seen the other designs, it's the same hat we're using every single time. That way we can be consistent with our designs. Make them nice and easy. Okay, so break off the excess now that I came around, and tuck that tail away. Very important also that you don't do that too tight. And so the second to last thing now is we're going to take those two little tails that we have on the bottom from that balloon. I'm just making sure it's nice and tight. And we're going to actually hold, if you notice what I'm doing here is I'm actually holding that head in front of the body, and I'm actually taking those nozzles and wrapping them around one of the arms. And now I can work the character's head into place. So I position it so it ends up on top of the two pinch twists. There you go. So those pinch twists help keep the head in place and also, you know, make them pretty stable. So there you go. Looking pretty good so far. Alrighty, and so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go for the little beer can, and I'm just going to do a simple tulip twist. Okay, so I'm just pushing that knot down inside, and when I get to where I want, I'm going to go ahead and grab that knot, give it a nice twist, and now I'm actually going to push that knot back up inside the balloon. Okay, there we go. So I'm just rolling the balloon and also at the same time mashing or pushing that knot up inside. Alright, so now I cut off a little bit so I have that tail left over, and with that little tail sticking out, it's going to be perfect to attach to one of the hands. And that will, once that's done, that's the end of the sculpture, the twisting itself. And so pretty soon we're going to be moving on to the artwork. So thanks so much for sticking around to this part. I really appreciate it. Let's do some drawing. Alrighty, so we made it to the end of the twisting. As you can see, not very hard to do, but definitely something you want to work with, especially when you're doing these tulip twists. And then this other one, this big one over here, when you're marrying the two balloons together. So yeah, when you do this marriage twist, I'm thinking about, like, as I'm saying it and I'm doing it and mixing up the words. So yeah, when you marry the two and do the marriage twist, that's something to make sure that you are not overinflating that white balloon, just to make sure it's easy for you to push that balloon down inside there. And so another thing to keep in mind too that you want to go for is make sure there's a nice size knot when you put the two together, because that makes it easier for you to grab onto it when it dips down inside there. So keep that in mind, okay? So let's go ahead and go over the artwork. I'm going to go ahead and do the skeleton's artwork first. And so I'm going to start with the elbows. I'm just going to do a couple of lines. So I'll just do that first really quick so you can see. There we go. So that's all I did. It just shows where the elbows are. And so I'm going to do X dash X. That's all I did. So you see that, like, I did an X dash X. X dash X. So same thing for this side. X dash X. Or you could just do X's all the way. It's up to you. There you go. Or maybe dashes all the way. See? Just turn it this way. X dash X. Alright. And so for the eyes, oh yeah, the other thing I was going to say too, I was just thinking about it. Because this is red, usually the Tecate beer is this reddish, darkish reddish color. But you could definitely say this is a Coke if it's kids, you know what I mean? So it just depends on what you want to do and who's at the party, you know? So for the eyes, I'm going to go two different sizes. So we got one eye and one bigger eye. There we go. Ta-da. And if you have trouble while you're drawing in this little area here, go ahead and tip the hat out of the way. If you saw I'm trying to remember which one of these. I want to say it was the little cactus guy. I was tipping his hat out of the way so I could draw on it, and probably even on the taco as well. So anyway. So there you go, I just added a little nose there, the little nostrils, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in the eyes. There we go. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the teeth here in just a moment. So there you go, that's filled in. And so for our teeth, I'm just doing a bunch of these little, I guess, like if you think about it, like the top of the letter N. Yep. Okay, and I'm going to do that on the bottom now. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to connect them. And you can decide how basic you want this to be. You could definitely just do a line straight across. Okay. We got that. And then we'll do the just a little bit to connect them. There you go, see? So it can be really basic. That's the cool thing about it. And then you notice I didn't do his knees. You could always do his knees down here following this line like we did before, a line across. See? Ta-da. And then again, X dash X, X dash X. There you go. See? Same thing. Same thing we did for the arms. We'll also do it for the knees. Knees and elbows. Alright, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do the... I'm just going to take the white marker and I'm just going to write beer. Alright. There we go. And that's all I did. I just wrote the word beer. I'm going to turn it that way so you can actually see it. Cool. So you see it's not very hard to do, and that's the cool thing. I just wanted to make sure that if you saw some pictures before, I had some of these listed and shown, and this guy wasn't included as far as being made yet. So I just wanted to make sure that you got everything and you felt like your life was complete. Anyway, thanks for watching very much. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't rated the video, go ahead and rate it. And if you, and by rating I mean, you know, definitely give it a like, but if it's unuseful to you, it's okay, give it a dislike if you don't think you're going to use this. I just want to make sure that I'm sharing some of the things that I pictured, so that way you can actually see them being made and realize like, oh, it's not that tough, you know. And then comment below. I'm always happy to hear about, you know, what you did or didn't do, so that way I know what I should be sharing and not sharing. Anyway, last but not least is what? Subscribe. That's right. So that way, pardon me, subscribe. That way you know when I'm putting something else out. You can go over and take a look at it. So again, thank you very, very much for watching up until this point. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, happy twisting.